Alright, so first things first, before we get started here, guys, I'm sick. I caught the bovid. I'm fine, but obviously my voice is not up to its usual stuff. It's been very annoying because I had other stuff I wanted to get done last week, but instead I have been in pain, taking more medicine than I probably should, and just waiting for things to be normal again. But despite all of that, I had to make the truly heroic sacrifice to sit down and record a video today because s1mple is playing his first tournament games with Falcons in the Thunderpick World Championships, and of course, we gotta talk about that. Now, these are their first games, so we're going to give a lot of slack towards the Falcons as they rev up for the major cycle upcoming, but it's still worth diving into to see how s1mple's looking early on, and whether or not Falcons are going to be able to bring it all together in time for the RMRs. To that end, they started off their heroic campaign by losing all 4 maps that they played to 3D Max and Virtus Pro, and instantly being eliminated in last place in an online cup with a whole bunch of other bad teams. So really, things are off to a great start. We're narrowing in on this final series between Falcons and Virtus Pro because I love nothing more than the battle of mid, so let's see what went wrong and right for Falcons in these early days. Before we get started, of course, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm, so thank you for doing it. Obviously, I am laying my life on the line right now for you guys to bring this recap, so show me some love in the comments down below. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this first game on Mirage. Starting big picture for a second, pretty much all of my biggest fears are coming to fruition with this lineup from the Falcons, because s1mple as an individual is still excellent. Please don't get anything twisted. This is not Jordan going to the Wizards. This is Jordan taking his hiatus to play baseball, and he's still coming back close to in his prime. I have no doubt that s1mple can still be a top 5 or even the best player in CS as soon as he gets back into the flow of things, and already we're seeing some glimpses of that. He opted very well throughout both of these series. His individual numbers were excellent. The problem is that we're back to the classic era of when s1mple first joined Na'Vi, of he is on a team full of traffic cones and Magisk is the only other player who seems to be able to do anything most of the time. By far, my biggest concern for this team going forward is the structure of their T sides. s1mple is obviously a notoriously aggressive player, but outside of him, who is going to be behind him and help him to entry and facilitate the site takes? Magisk is not traditionally an aggressive player himself. Madden and Dupree don't really do it either from what I've seen, and Snappy doesn't seem to be the Kerrigan type to be the ruthless facilitator himself. Now obviously the team structure, the strategies, these can all improve over time as we get closer and closer to that fateful RMR, but it really does feel like we've reverted to the classic Na'Vi lineups of old before Electronic, funnily enough, joined the team, where the only viable strat is s1mple go kill. Like here on round 3 on Mirage, where after losing the pistol round and being forced into an early save on the force buy after, we come into this round with just a saved scout armor and MP9 armor, and everyone else just bringing in some upgraded pistols. It is going to come down to Virtus Pro hitting the B site late, and it's the key tags with s1mple with the scout that allow Falcons to snake this round out from right under Virtus Pro's feet. But even at the best of times, s1mple go kill doesn't always work, and the very next round, both teams are full bond to the gills, and it comes down to, once again, a late B hit by Virtus Pro wanting to exploit the snappy anchor. s1mple has a great eye into the apartments. He misses 2 very hittable shots, which is just going to happen from time to time, and it sets up Norbert for the crazy triple kill that blows the site wide open. In the next round, I actually like this setup from Falcons, reacting to the fact that Virtus Pro are wanting to pressure B because they're assuming that Snappy is going to be stashed there to anchor on the lesser bomb site because he's their weakest player. Falcons do well to play very aggressive towards A, clearing through ramp. Madden gets a nice pick into the apartments. And with that space taken, s1mple can edge over onto B to re-support the defense. And listen guys, please make no mistake about any criticism in this video. It's very clear how good s1mple is still at Counter-Strike. I mean, he doesn't look like it's going to take long before he is s1mple again in the truest sense. I mean, this triple kill looks easy as could be for the GOAT. Oh, and probably goes without saying, but even though he missed some op shots earlier on in this game, he still hit plenty of them too, like right here on the A side defense. Now, this next round is unfortunately a nightmare if you're a Falcons fan. Flit on the hero AK just finds the perfect seam into window as S1mple is falling back to rotate to CT. He slips through the window vent, and dupreeh has no idea that anybody could be here. There's no reason to assume anybody could be here, and Flit gets the first pick and has now sealed off B site in its entirety, stranding Snappy all by his lonesome. He makes a dog's breakfast of the first spray into the apartments, but credit to him, he does take 2 players down with him as he exits stage left, and Flit is just in too dominant a position once he takes care of Madden. He takes care of Magisk right after, and S1mple is wondering what the hell just happened to this entire round. So am I. But of course, that is just the first half of play. We now go to the more worrying of the 2 halves for this team so far, and that is their T-side effort. The one thing that I saw consistently through here and on Anubis was a distinct lack of procedure. It feels like the playbook just isn't really built out yet, and there weren't a whole lot of set strats. Granted, again, this is just an online cup. This tournament doesn't mean much. The team is only freshly formed. I expect these protocols to get fleshed out over time, but it's still something worth noting right now. Like here, it is round 16, and Flit is going to push down to mid first things first, take Snappy out right away. Nobody's in a position to help Snappy, trade him out whatsoever, so Flit gets this pick for free. And from here, it seems like the play just kind of devolves into trying to get a contact pick if you're on the Falcons side. There are no smokes, no flashes, nothing to facilitate. Players creep up connector, creep up A main, and they just try to take gunfights. It doesn't work because you need more than that to really get by most pro teams, even against Versus Pro, which, you know, saying a lot. But there was nothing to help anybody. No smokes on A to make it seem like the mid to A split wasn't happening. Nothing, just everyone just was holding angles and hoping they would win. Now listen, I am not dense. I understand that especially in lower econ situations where you don't have the utility to make complicated setups, you need to rely on your team's ability to take contact, take space, and at the end of the day, you have to win gunfights to win rounds in CS. I understand that. In this next round, we get much better examples of that. We open up with James and Madden taking picks in A main. Trades favor the T's, so all in all, a good exchange for the Falcons. They're going to slowly rotate their way back into mid. Again, utility running low, so they're going to have to take space in a very difficult situation, moving up mid slowly. Madden once again facilitates a nice pick to a rotating player in CT. Flit trades out Snappy in the connector thereafter, so once again, a 1-for-1 trade, which will favor the T's in the long run, and that allows Falcons to collapse down into the B site. Madden gets his 3rd pick, S1mple follows it up right away with another one onto James, and that's about as good of a B take as you could get in that kind of situation. Good round from the Falcons. Skipping ahead to round 19, I think once again, we see just like a lack of protocols. When I watch other great Mirage teams like a Na'Vi, a Mouse, a Vitality, when they take their mid control, they are ruthless in how much utility they commit. It's the short cat smoke, into a connector, into a window smoke. They're flashing, they're nading cat, they're smoking top con if they need to. As soon as they're getting ready to take more space, pushing through into connector, pushing through into window, pushing through into cat, they have the support utility behind them. And then we come into this kind of round, and the Falcons, they push down, they smoke window, and then they just take a double dry swing into connector. Flit gets 2 very easy gunfights and takes 2 immediate picks. dupreeh hops up into window, takes a pick for his own, but S1mple, because the bomb is out in connector, isn't just hard watching cat, so he doesn't see Electronic slip by in the ladder room. Electronic gets a free shot on the back on dupreeh, and now S1mple is split. Does he watch window or does he watch cat? Does he watch window or does he watch cat? Can't cover both angles. Electronic gets the double kill for free. Magisk is now trapped in a 1v4. Just a distinct lack of coordination, and the round falls apart almost instantaneously. Virtus Pro close out the rest of that game convincingly, taking a 1-0 series lead, and we're moving on to Anubis. Now, keep in mind, coming into this matchup over the last 3 months, Virtus Pro have played Anubis 3 times. They lost it twice. So, not exactly a dominant force on the map, you would say. And you know, it's a T-sided map, so I would expect Falcons to be able to do something on their T-side. And why is the score getting bigger on the screen? Stop! Don't show that. The people can't know. I'm supposed to do the thing where I build up to the fact that Falcons only won 1 T round. Why are we giving the game away so early? Come on. Anyways, yeah, this was an ugly T-side. Dude, listen, we're just gonna go at this 1 round at a time. Okay, so you lose the pistol round, you lose the force buy after. No big deal. Not the worst thing to happen, you can overcome this deficit. In the first gun round though, we see quickly where some pieces might start falling apart. Round starts, teams spread out, and right off the rip, Snappy gets a pick on Fame poking out through A main. Now, do me a favor, look at the minimap. As you can see here, there is nobody within a country goddamn mile of the A site on the CT side. So had Falcons simply pushed their advantage here and taken space behind this pick, they would have gotten the A site basically for free. Now listen, I understand that pushing A is not easy on Anubis, it can be quite difficult. However, there's no flash or attempt to take the peak towards pillar. They don't attempt to do anything with this space taken. And this is not just me being a hindsight Harry here and being like, well, we know the Verse Pro don't rotate immediately, they should be able to take the site anyway, they should know this. No, this comes down to bad scouting because, spoiler alert, you can go look at every single CT round from Verse Pro in this game, with the exception of one. They do the same setup, 2B, 2 mid, 1A. You should know, you should be scouting your opponents. Zonic should know this should be in the playbook, that if you get the early pick A site is vulnerable. This is a T-sided map. Take space. I'm an aggressive player, okay? So I personally hate this, that they just freeze and give this space up and don't do anything with it. You've been given the opener. You have the man advantage. Smoke camera, smoke heaven, push. Verse Pro would be forced into a save or a very difficult retake. And regardless of whether you think just going all in on A right away is the correct play, I understand that. You should at least be exploring 1 or 2 players up here into A main, clear out towards the site, flash in, and just get some intel. But instead, they do nothing with this space given, and it's awful. Like a full 40 goddamn seconds are elapsed before Falcons make their next move. In the meantime, Verse Pro just hold frame. They don't bother, they wait to react to what Falcons are doing. Electronic gets a great push through the smoke, backed up by a Jane flash, catches Mad Insane on his hands, free pick. And at this point, again, almost 50 seconds since the opening pick, now Falcons decide to push A, and Verse Pro, they read it, they're head on the rotate, they disassemble the attack from the Falcons. In the round after, Falcons make the call to go for a armor pistol buy. S1mple ends up buying down to 0. Now, the reason I don't like this buy at this point in the game is because even though it doesn't affect their ability to get full buys for the rest of this game as long as they keep losing, I don't feel like they had enough utility or money to justify this force buy right now. Unless someone goes absolutely crazy with a Tech 9 or a Deagle, 2 Molotovs and a smoke are not enough to take the bomb sites on Anubis. I don't care how T-sided this is. Instead, had Falcons decided to full save the round after, they could have potentially had an op up on S1mple, they could have had more utility, they might not be buying Galils in subsequent rounds. If nothing else, they know for sure they're going to have armor, AK, everything for at least 2 rounds. I just don't see the point in going into this force buy here when you know the odds are so not in your favor. You don't have the setup to make this round work, and Jame is going to be uncontested on the op, spoiler alert, for the rest of this game. You don't give S1mple a chance to try and contest with the op or give you an opening somewhere else on the map. You have to play around the rifles from here on out. Again, look at this buy going into round 18. S1mple only has a smoke, Snappy is stuck on a Galil. Had they saved, they would have been at least up to all rifles. Once again, S1mple could have had an op. But regardless of what their plan was going into this round, Flit's going to dismantle that right away here. I love this push from Flit here. I think this is brilliant. Snappy, you have to be more aware. You know the B main push could be on at any time. Dupree's unable to get the trade, so Flit gets the first 2 picks for free. Already this round is basically a wash. In the end, S1mple gives a hell of an attempt at the ace clutch, but he may be the GOAT, but some asks are still a bit unreasonable. In the next round, we start to see the effects of that force buy really hurting their economy. Dupree and Snappy stuck on Galils, Magisk, AK armor, 0 nades. Jame has complete freedom in mid, gets another uncontested mid pick on Madden. Things slow down as both teams work out the map control. Eventually Falcons are going to try and bend it into a late B split. S1mple coming up through the E-box is going to get the first opening to start the hit. Norbert and Electronic are trapped backside. Norbert opens up the smoke, giving Magisk the shot onto Electronic. Jame fires off a trade right back at Dupree, and now trapped by the leaves, Norbert creeps around the pillar, catches S1mple through the smoke as the bomb starts to go down. Snappy eventually gets the bomb down, starts falling back towards B main, taking care of Norbert before getting swiftly traded out, and Magisk is unable to convert the 1v2. So I think you guys are starting to get my point. Obviously, and as I've said already in this video, this is just an online cup. This is just step one, clearly the first in the many warm-ups that Falcons are going to go through in the build-up to the RMRs. But I thought it was cool just to highlight where they're at right now, and we can always check in again as we get closer and closer to those fateful days. If nothing else, it's nice to see that s1mple is still able to perform and carry even though he's been gone for so long, because he is in fact just that guy. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. Oh my god, I'm sick. I'm ready to go to bed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. These videos are powered by advanced.gg. Check the link in the description. If you decide to make a purchase, you can use my code LIONS10 for 10% off at checkout. Thank you to Advanced. I also work with Refrag. They're the best self-improvement platform in CS2. If you're trying to take your game to the next level, consider getting a Refrag subscription. And if you do, you can use my code LION15 for 15% off. Thank you to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Milan Berta. Check the description. You too can become a channel member and support me directly. Thank you for doing that. Follow me on Twitch, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Hopefully, I will not sound like a train wreck by then. You guys have a good night. Stay safe. Later.